welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are doing something a little different. We're doing a Wrestling 30 Under 30. Now, if you don't know what this is, the NBA and NFL kind of do this pretty much every year, and that is 30 players under the age of 30, and kind of ranking them on kind of right now, potential further down the line, and kind of just what they can mean in the wrestling business in this case. And yeah, just kind of giving like a showcase to a lot of these younger people who you might not know are this young, because there's definitely a few people I was like, wow, how are they still this young and they're still amazing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, there's a ton of young people who are surprisingly young that even I didn't know that they were under the age of 30, but they were.
Yeah, let's kick things off at number 30. We have Leon Slater from TNA. Now, he is probably one of my favorite people in TNA simply because, obviously, kind of this list is kind of about how young he is and how good he is already. Some of the moves he can pull out is insane. Has kind of like the Will Ospreay sort of level offense. And, yeah, I just really love his work he's been doing.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He just had a great match versus JVC at their most recent TNA taping. So yeah, I have high hopes for him to even move up to the WWE or AEW position.
Yeah, next up at number 29, we have Nick Wayne in AEW. Now for him, I think he is somebody who can definitely be a future, like almost a megastar even, because he's 19 years old, already in AEW, kind of hanging out with people like Christian Cage, going to get Samoa Joe, Shibata. Like there's a lot of guys that he's able to work with at such a young age that I think it only means great things for him down the line.
Yeah, he's so young, and with the way the AEW roster is, he has endless potential to work with there and get better. So yeah, shout out to Nick Wayne.
Next up at number 28, we have our first woman on the list so far, and that is Jamie Hayter. She's somebody who, when she returned at All In this past year, it was a great, amazing moment for her returning in her home country. But now that she's on the AEW roster, she hasn't still done too much. We'll have to see more from her, but she's somebody who I think can definitely be one of the better women on the roster.
Yeah, I think Jamie Hayter is great. Haven't seen a whole lot from her, as you mentioned, since she returned. But it would be awesome to see her kind of develop further in 2025.
Next up at number 27, we have Tavion Heights coming out of NXT. He is somebody who I think has some of the most potential on this list as for younger people. He's had a great excursion out in Japan, but when he came back to NXT, hasn't done too much, so I kind of look at him as like almost an underrated guy, at least to the eyes of the higher-ups in WWE. But yeah, somebody who I'm looking forward to down the line.
Yeah, had a great run in Noah and came back and had a couple matches, but kind of in the way of the Jamie Hayter story, they brought him back and haven't done a whole lot with him. So once again, I'll say hopefully that's a great 2025.
Yep. Next up at 26, we have Julia Hart coming from AEW. Somebody who I think her reason on this list made difference to some other people, and that is that her character work is probably her strong suit so far as the people we talked about. Obviously, hanging out with the House of Black has been something great for her to always give her some TV time, and she plays that role amazingly. Now that she's with Buddy and Brody, that could hopefully be some cool stuff with her. But yeah, definitely somebody I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunate timing of an injury kind of took her off TV, and we haven't seen her since then. Basically, we've seen her once or twice, but just a very unfortunate timing for an injury to happen. But hopefully, once again, she has a great 2025.
Next up at number 25, we have the current NXT North American champion, and that is Tony D'Angelo. He's been on NXT for quite a while now. I don't know why necessarily they're keeping him there. Maybe they want to just kind of see how far he can get in NXT, maybe make him an eventual world champion. But being a two-time NXT North American champion can only mean good things for him. And I think down the line, he'll probably get some mid-card gold down the line.
Yeah, Tony D's character is always kind of fun to see and good to see. I am a little skeptical about how he would work over on the main roster, at least under this gimmick. But yeah, Tony D'Angelo definitely has the character work to swap characters, but I think that might be necessary for him to move up.
Yeah. Next up, we have another NXT guy, and that is Charlie Dempsey. Now, he is somebody who, in the ring, is one of the best catch wrestlers right now, and he has been doing, having a lot of great matches with people that maybe aren't as highly touted as, maybe he is in the ring. And I love his, kind of UK British humor, just kind of being like this nonchalant type of guy, and the little funny stuff he does with NQCC.
Yeah, Charlie Dempsey is great. He just lost his Heritage Cup to Lexus King. So yeah, I think he could move up to one of the actual titles finally and win some like real gold ones.
Next up at 23, we're going back to AEW, and we have Wheeler Yuta. He's somebody who obviously people in AEW see very highly. Working with the likes of Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley, Claudio, can only mean great things for you. And if Bryan Danielson sees a lot of potential in you, I'm going to believe him because Bryan Danielson's usually right about things.
Yeah, Wheeler Yuta been part of the BCC. Now he's part of the Death Riders. He plays his role pretty good. And I think that in 2025 he'll probably have a pretty cool face turn at some point, I would hope, with the Death Riders, and I think that would be really good for him.
Next up at number 22, we have Dragon Lee. Unfortunately, in WWE, he hasn't done too much besides win the Speed Champion, which is an unfortunate thing, but at least he's getting seen somewhere, and is probably making a good little chunk of change off of that as well. But yeah, he is one of the best and most crazy to watch wrestlers in WWE right now, and has such a unique offense. And hopefully we can see more from him down the line.
Yeah, he's always fun to see his matches. As you mentioned, he won the Speed Champion. He also won the NXT North American Champion from Dominic Mysterio, I believe it was. So yeah, definitely a lot of potential for Dragon Lee. Hopefully we see more of him. Hopefully Penta didn't kind of slow down what WWE had planned for him.
Yeah, next up at 21, we have somebody that you put me on, and that is Danny Luna. Currently in TNA as the Knockouts Tag Team Champions, and she's also a very popular American indie wrestler as well. I'll let you take more to talk about her.
Yeah, she's wrestled pretty much anyone on the women's independent scene. She's been in Knockouts Tag Team Champion, as you mentioned, as part of Spitfire with Jody Threat, and she's amazing. She's very young, only she's 25, 26, one of the two. There's a lot of potential. She was already in NXT UK, doing a lot of matches there, so she has wrestled a lot of the people who are currently on the WWE already. And I think she'll be a great addition to them because she kind of can do everything. She proved that she could tag team wrestle. She's great in the singles division, but hopefully for her TNA run, I hope that they split her up from this tag team and kind of send her up to Masha Slamovich and let her at least have a go at her.
Yeah, I really like that for her. Next up at 20, we have Daniel Garcia, one of the best wrestlers in the company. He is a great character, but also, like I said, a great wrestler. And I think somebody who is gonna be a future world champion in the company. Obviously, it's kind of hard with the names they do have, but I can definitely see him being a future world champion.
Yeah, not much to add to that. Daniel Garcia is awesome.
Next up at number 19, we have Jack Perry. His run in AEW has been very interesting. He was super over with Luchasaurus, and then went singles, and then he's had a rough time, obviously, with the CM Punk stuff. There's arguments that it helps and hurt him, but in the long run, I think he still has so much time in the wrestling industry that hopefully by the time he retires, that's not the biggest thing we remember him as.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically part of the elite. He's hanging around the Bucks all the time. He's around Kenny Omega, and once again, he's one of those people who, he's around the right people in AEW to get better. I think his character work could probably be his biggest thing that he could kind of use to develop him a little further, because I do feel like his in-ring is pretty good, but I think his character work and just kind of maybe the little things could make him that little bit better.
Yeah. Next up at number 18, we have my favorite NXT wrestler, and that is Javon Evans. Somebody who has been such a great story to kind of watch. I was able to watch him pretty much a little bit before he signed with NXT, watch him in DPW, and now that he's at NXT was such a cool moment. Seeing wrestle people like Randy Orton already at such a young age is insane. Similar to Nick Wayne, where he's just such a crazy athletic guy. Has, in my opinion, if you watched our comparisons video, I gave him the comparison of Will Ospreay, so that can only mean one thing, and that hopefully he's a future great.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have too much to add to about what you said, but yeah, he's been amazing. His character work, his charisma, just the way he just flies around the ring or bounces around the ring. Yeah, he's amazing, and he has big hopes for him from me. On the main roster as well, and just basically his entire career. I think he'll have a very long career.
Yeah. Next up at number 17, we have former Women's North American Champion in the first one, Kalani Jordan. She has been great ever since she's pretty much came to NXT. She's been killing it almost in every match. Never has a stinker match. It's always one of the better matches on the night even. And yeah, I think she is somebody who will be a very likely candidate for a future great in the women's division.
Yeah, Kalani's awesome. Takes a lot of inspiration from RVD. Yeah, she's awesome. She's super, super young. She's the first North American champion, so that kind of shows that WWE does have a lot of stock behind her once again. Yeah, shout out to Kalani Jordan.
Next up at 16, this might get us a little bit of hate, but we do have Logan Paul. He's somebody who obviously you have mixed opinions about, but one thing that's kind of undeniable is that he is pretty good in the ring, and he's only been doing this for a few years now, so he can only improve really. And yeah, I think Logan is probably not going to be in the wrestling industry for obviously very, very long, but for the next few years while he is here, it should be interesting to watch. He always makes for good TV.
Yeah, I think he's just a great TV person, just somebody to boo. I think he could. There's a lot of potential for Logan Paul to be a great TV character. I think the way he kind of delivers his promos could be better because the promos are good. I like what he's saying, but I feel like sometimes the way he delivers it just isn't all the way there. Just as far as like the wrestling, where I feel like it's more acting promos than wrestling promos whenever he does his. But that could always get better. But his in-ring work is really good. You cannot like him as a person, but I do think his matches are always just fun to watch at the very least.
And at number 15, making the halfway point, we do have the current NXT World Champion, Oba Femi. Somebody who has pretty much been doing this for a year now and has been dominant and amazing ever since he started. And he's already NXT World Champion, and when he gets to the main roster, only thing I need from him is one match with Gunther, and that's all I need.
Yeah, once again, not much to add to that. Oba is just kind of that guy in NXT. He just has the crowd behind him. He's massive. And he can actually move around the ring a little bit for a big man. So, Oba Femi is great.
At number 14, we have the proto-star Kyle Fletcher from AEW. Somebody who I really enjoy almost every match he's been putting on. He had an amazing match with Mark Briscoe on Dynamite a few weeks ago, and now he's having a match at Revolution with Will Ospreay in a steel cage match. And yeah, a lot of high hopes for him.
Yeah, Kyle Fletcher is probably their best young wrestler that they have on their roster. They did just sign Speedball Mike Bailey, so we didn't kind of involve him on this list because, you know, he wasn't official at the time we were making this. Oh, I don't know if he's on the third either. But yeah, he's amazing.
Next up at number 13, we're sticking in AEW. We have Chris Statlander, former TBS champion and hopefully future world champion.
Yeah, once again, nothing to add. Chris Statlander is awesome. She had a great 2024 and probably will have a great 2025.
Next up at 11 and 12, we have a kind of a combination pick. We don't want to put them as one, but we have Nathan Frazier and Axiom. They are just amazing. It's kind of hard to pick and choose which spot you want to put them at because I feel like they're both 1A and 1B. But yeah, I think they're phenomenal and are the best tag team in North America right now.
Yeah, we have Axiom at 12 and then Nathan Frazier just a little bit above at number 11. But they are awesome. They're the best tag team in just North American wrestling. Probably in all of the world, but I can't really speak for, you know, the other side of the world, so I'll leave it as North American.
Next up at number 10, we have Dominic Mysterio. I feel like this one's kind of hard to deny just because we see the reaction he gets on TV, and he's pretty good in the ring and is only going to get better.
Yeah, his promos are pretty good. His character work is really good. Did awesome things with Rey Mysterio. Did awesome things with Judgment Day. Now with Liv Morgan. So potential is sort of endless with him. Would love to see him be like that sneaky little heel that wins the world title at some point and just has like that sneaky win in some kind of tricky way.
Yep, and next up at number 9, we have former women's world champion in AEW, Mariah May. She's been fantastic ever since debuting for the company, has had a great feud with Toni Storm, and yeah, she is going to be somebody who I hope stays around for a while.
Yeah, the Glamour Mariah May taking on Toni Storm once again at Revolution, and that's going to be a very exciting match for her in 2025. I don't believe she'll win the world title again, at least in this situation, but it will be an awesome match nonetheless for her.
Yep, and next up at number 8, we have officially, as a WWE superstar now, Jordynne Grace. She's been fantastic ever, obviously, since TNA, putting on great matches pretty much almost every time over there. But now that she's in NXT, gets a bit more spotlight, and yeah, only can mean big things for her.
Yeah, I think WWE loves Jordynne Grace. I think she'll be awesome. I think she's one person who you won't really have to worry about her booking in WWE.
And next up at number 7, we have Tiffany Stratton, current Women's World Champion on SmackDown. And yeah, I mean, she's fantastic. She's having a match with Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. So obviously WWE sees her in a very high light. And coming in at only 25 years old, I mean, she has so many years left in the industry. And yeah.
Yeah, she's 25 years old, already a world champion, and going to be in a world title match for Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. And potentially a huge WrestleMania with all the things going on with The Rock and everything. So yeah, very cool to see Tiffany in this situation. They did a great job of her transition from NXT to the main roster, and hopefully they could do that with more people.
Yep. And at number 6, we have probably arguably the best wrestler on this entire list, and that is Konosuke Takeshita. He has been fantastic since he's joined AEW, has been showcased in a very good way, has had matches with Kenny Omega, Ospreay, Ricochet, and yeah, I think he's somebody who is going to be a great addition for that roster.
Yeah, if this was a best wrestlers list, he would likely be number 1 on this list. Because he is that awesome. He's one of the hardest hitting wrestlers in AEW, in my opinion, and yeah, all his matches are awesome. He's just awesome in general.
Now with our top 5, this is when things obviously get a little tricky. Obviously, the past few picks have been a little hard to place, but at number 5, we have Braun Breaker, current Intercontinental Champion in WWE. He's been fantastic, and yeah, obviously WWE sees him in very high lights. Former NXT World Champion, already won the Intercontinental Champion. He'll probably win a World Champion in the next 3-5 years.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all that. I think he's just guaranteed to win a world title. Just has kind of that, I don't even know who to compare him to really, but just that big man who just can't be stopped, and he'll just bulldoze you if you get in his way type of thing. But I love Braun Breaker. He has a lot of potential. And yeah, he's definitely going to have world title around his waist at some point.
Yep. And next up at number 4, we have the youngest person of the top 5, and that is Roxanne Perez. Obviously, this is one of your girls. Obviously, a former world champion in NXT. You already know that. But yeah.
Yeah, ever since I watched, I forget what match it was, but there was one match in particular when we reviewed a NXT pay-per-view way back. She had a match versus somebody, whoever it was, and it was an amazing match. And I've been behind her since then. That was about 2 years ago now. And I've been following her pretty much every single match I've seen since then. And yeah, she just constantly improved. She's a 2-time NXT World Champion. And she's probably one of the better NXT champions in recent memory.
Yep. And then now at number 3, all these next people can be ranked at number 1. I think there's a valid argument for it. But at number 3, we went with Timeless Toni Storm. She has been fantastic since she joined AEW, a full-on career revamp, and just has made a great argument as one of the best women's wrestlers currently going. Her talent, her character work has been amazing, and her wrestling has been great as well.
Yeah, Timeless Toni Storm literally does everything. She had one of the best feuds of 2024, one of the best matches of 2024. So yeah, she has a lot of potential at 29 years old. This will be her last time on the list, but I don't think she will have any problems going forward.
And next up at number 2, we have the biggest scumbag, and that is MJF. Obviously, he is somebody who is going to be around for a very long time. He's been to the top already, obviously in the Hangman vignettes and promos. Will he be a one-trick pony, and will that be all he does, or will he continue to be great?
Yeah, he has kind of had a few people recently kind of starting to turn on MJF a little bit. However, I am not in that group of people. I think he's amazing. His return with the Triple H jacket and the AEW tattoo and all that type of stuff. Just everything he does, even the Dustin Rhodes match he's recently had. He just does a lot of great stuff. His promos are great. His in-ring work is undeniable. And that's why he's number 2 on this list.
Yep. And at our number 1 spot, we have Rhea Bloody Ripley she is 28 years old, but yeah, she is fantastic. Has been on the top of the world in the women's division for quite at least a year now, and yeah, she is just obviously one of the best.
Yeah, I think for her age and everything she's done, she's already took out 2 of the 4 horsewomen at WrestleMania. She only has Bayley and Sasha to check off on that checklist. Multiple time world champion, tag champion, and all that at 28 years old. hopefully at some point we could see her actually kind of get that big main event out of WrestleMania, because she definitely does deserve it for everything that she's kind of doing for the business of WWE and just generating the money and just eyeballs and just the social media views and clicks. And she does a lot for the company. She does a lot for wrestling. She does great. She does everything kind of. She's good in ring. Her promos are good. She was heel. She was face. She's kind of done it all.
Yeah. But that is our Wrestling 30 Under 30. Let us know if there's anybody we left out or who you would change on the list. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.